Hello, welcome to this week's Seeds of Generosity. Every week we take a look at what God's Word has to say about being generous and talk about some practical ways to be generous as well. Today we're going to be looking at how to be a generous friend and digging into that. But first of all, if you're new here, I'm Cassandra Lowry. Thank you for joining us. And I would like for you to take a look in the description below for a free gift that I have for you. It is a PDF with 14 declarations of who God says you are and 3 verses to back each of those up. It is so important to be putting into our mind, renewing our mind with what God says, His Word, and what He says about us. And what He says about us is incredibly amazing. And it just helps build our faith and our trust in Him and our love for Him when we realize how He sees us and what He says about us. So grab that free PDF in the description below and print that off. Use it as a study guide, use it as daily declarations, however you want to use that. But get that word into your mind and renew your mind with all the amazing things God has to say about you. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a couple verses. We'll start in Proverbs 19:6. It says, "Many will seek the favor of a generous man, and every man is a friend to him who gives gifts." So giving gifts obviously attracts people. That's not the reason we give gifts, for sure. But I just wanted to use this verse to remind ourselves that friends do give gifts. And it's a beautiful thing when we can do that for our friends. And then we'll also take a look at James 1:19. "This you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." And some of the versions say in the quick to hear, say quick to listen, or be a good listener. And today we want to talk about being a friend who listens and gives gifts based on listening. I looked at a couple quotes that aren't Bible references either that just talk about this because I thought it was important to just add a few more in there. A good listener is not only popular everywhere, but after a while, he knows something. So again, it brings in everybody's going to be a friend to a person who gives gifts. A person who listens is going to be popular as well. And he's going to know something after a while. One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. I'm sure that you can attest to that is such a wonderful quality of friendship, is just that, being able to be understood, and in that also understanding the other. So let's dig into just a few things that, as a friend, and this applies in families as well, not just in friendships that aren't family, but just in families too. Listening to things that our friend might need, listening to things that they might want, or as we listen and we get to know them, getting to know things that they enjoy. This makes us great gift givers if we can listen for these things. We might listen and hear when they're going through extra time on their road because of something, or some laid off hours at work, some needs. We might hear some needs of needing to have some extra gas money or needing a ride somewhere. Just some of those actual needs, needing a meal when they're just overwhelmed with something, or they have a really busy week coming up. You know that you've been in communication with them and you know that there's a really busy week of activities and stuff, and so maybe they need a meal taken to them. Just again, listening to some of those needs that may come up, and being in communication and listening, you get to hear some wants. There's so many things, right? When you get to talking with a friend and you get to hear some of those things, "Oh, I'd love to have this," or "Oh, I saw this and this would work so great for this." This is such a fun one to do when it's actually something that they really would use and want. You don't want to, people say that they want things when it's something that, that'd be nice, but I don't know that I'd actually use it a ton. But when it's something that they actually would use and it's not just going to be clutter in their home, those can be fabulous. I had one friend that does a lot of scrapbooking, and one time she happened to mention that she saw at baseball games, going to her son's baseball games, that some of these moms had these foldable wagons that they used during that to bring in their food, to bring in, the extra things that they needed. And it was so handy for that. And that she thought that that would be something, she's like, I thought about getting it. I just haven't done it. I don't know. But I've thought about it. And so my sister and I actually were like, oh, that would be great. She could use that so much. She goes to so many games. And so we got that for her. And turns out that she used it actually for scrapbooking events more than the baseball games and different games that she went to. But just listening to those things, what's something that they would enjoy? Maybe they have never had their nails done, but they've talked about, I've never done that. And that would be kind of fun. Go do it together. Take her out and do that together. What a fun way to give something that they would like, but may not do for themselves. And bonus, to do it together. Enjoy that time together. Time is such a precious gift. If you've watched any of my other Seeds of Generosity videos, you've probably heard me talk about that, because time is the most precious thing you can give. So even being the friend that listens is going to be huge. As you get to know them, as you listen, you might get to know some drinks that they enjoy or foods that they love, that they enjoy a certain place, but it's not somewhere that they shop all the time or go to all the time, but they like to once in a while. It's kind of a treat, a splurge for them. So getting them a gift card to one of those places, or bringing them their favorite drink to work, surprising them with that, or delivering a favorite treat that they like and making that, or picking it up at the store and taking that to them after a long day of work or something. Just some of those fun things that as a listener you're going to hear. Be a good listener. Being a good listener is such a valuable skill and quality to have, and it's definitely something that I need to grow in a lot, for sure. But just listening to those things, maybe even if you want to go all out and listening for a getaway that they love, that they would enjoy, and getting them a gift card to the place that they want to go, or to a hotel that that they'd enjoy, or Airbnb type thing, something that they would enjoy staying at that place, or to the museum, or to a ticket to a concert or an event, a conference, or something that you've listened and oh yeah, hey, they'd enjoy that. Let's do that. That's a fun way to do that as well. And just things, again, other things that they may enjoy that may be kind of regular, or just something that you can grab every now and then. Flowers, candles, like I said, some treats or some drinks, just some of those things that that they enjoy. It's not something you get them all the time, but just every once in a while, out of the blue, for no reason at all, you pick up a bouquet of flowers and take it to them, or have it delivered to them at work, or a new candle scent that you're like, oh, I've heard them mention those types of scents. I've never seen this one specifically, though. Maybe they'd like this one. Doing something like that. Just listen. It seems so simple, but it's not. So many times we're in conversations and we're thinking about the next thing we're going to say. We're not actually listening to what they're saying. And if we can listen and we can remember those things about them, that in itself is going to build such a wonderful friendship. It shows your generous heart just in that alone. and then actually acting on those things and getting them some of those things, treating them to some of those special treats, or meeting some needs that they have in a season. It is some of the most generous things you can do, because you're listening to them, you're understanding them, you're being present and being there for them. And then you are remembering who they are, what they love, what they enjoy, where they struggle. Those are going to speak volumes to them. You are going to have such tremendous friendships when this is how you treat your friends. You treat your friends with honor and respect, and that you show that you want to know them and that you are listening to who they are and what they say. So I hope that this is helpful in ways to be generous, especially in friendships, and to just be that listening ear, and in that listening, being that wonderful gift giver and treating them as the royalty that God has said they are, because God calls us kings and priests, and that's how we can treat each other. What a wonderful way to celebrate friendship, is to treat each other like that royalty that God says that we are. If this has been helpful to you, please like and subscribe. I would absolutely appreciate it. If you have somebody else that you would love to share this with, please do. If you know somebody that loves giving or is a good friend to you, send and say thank you for being this friend to me. I would greatly appreciate that. And I just want to help spread God's good news and all the wonderful things that He does for us. We can be generous because He's been so generous to us. And that's the reason we're generous. We don't be generous because we're trying to please Him or we're trying to please that other person. But we're generous because God has been so generous to us and filled us to overflowing, that we may overflow in generosity to others as well. I pray that this has been helpful to you. Again, don't forget to look in the description to find that PDF so that you can remember all the amazing things God has said about you. I shouldn't say all. There's so many more. 14 is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a great list to start with for sure, getting that, renewing your mind into who God says you are, like royalty. Have an absolutely fabulous day, and we will see you next Saturday on Seeds of Generosity. Bye.